Hello and welcome. My name is Tracy Fitch, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make several items that you can use with your students with CVI when you are assessing them, as well as just working with them on a daily basis. So the things that we are going to be making today are a felt presentation board that you can attach visual targets to, the visual targets with the Velcro attached, a slinky book, homemade swirly mats, shape cutouts to use with swirly mats on a lightbox, and a calendar matching activity or game. All right, so let's get started. The fourth activity that we'll be doing today is making swirly mats. So the items that we need for this activity are going to be a sturdy gallon or quart size Ziploc bag. And you want a good sturdy one that's like a good brand because we don't want it leaking. We also need cheap hair gel. I say cheap because I don't want you going and buying like fancy hair gel. Just buy the big bottles that you can find at the Dollar Tree or at a dollar store. The next thing that we need is the items to put in the swirly mat. And these types of things would be glitter, sequins, foam beads, anything that's not going to tear the inside of the bag once they're in there. So things that are going to be noticeable without being heavy or the kind of thing that would mess up the bag. And the last thing that we need is some duct tape of different colors. This could just be that red or yellow like before. I've also found that you'll see in a second. I've also found like Mylar duct tape at the Dollar Tree as well. So since I am doing quart size, I'm gonna fill half of this quart size bag with half of my bottle of hair gel. So I'm literally just gonna open it on up. This one has a pop top, and this hair gel is 16 ounces, the clear kind. I'm gonna tip it, and I'm going to turn it upside down, and I'm just gonna start squeezing the hair gel. I had one of my students help me make some of these. I'm actually gonna insert a picture with his mother's permission of one of my students helping me make these. And he had the most fun ever. They were for one of my preschool students, and it was kind of like a little bit of a STEM, expanded core curriculum lesson that he got to help me with. All right, I'm gonna see how much have I used. Have I used half yet? I don't know. Okay, that's about half, I think. All right, and then once you get the hair gel in, then you're gonna pick what you wanna do first. So the first ones that I think I am going to go with are, let's do a basic standard CVI one, which is gonna be using this red confetti. So remember, whenever you're opening confetti, be so careful. If you want to, you can pour it into a bowl before you do anything with it so that it's easier to pour. But I'm just gonna open my bag very carefully of the red tube confetti. I'm gonna open my bag of hair gel, my Ziploc bag, and I'm just gonna very carefully pour the tube confetti into the bag of hair gel. I'm trying to get as much of it in. Some of it got stuck to the sticky part of the bag that it was in. All right, and then this is the tricky part. You want to try to get out as much air as possible without getting hair gel out of the bag, or glitter, which is what I'm doing right now, the confetti. Okay. So just make sure you get as much air out as you can, and then close it on up. And then you can kind of move it around so you can get the confetti into the hair gel as best you can. Get it all mixed up in there. So I'm just kneading the bag. That's what I'm doing to get the confetti mixed in with that hair gel as much as I can. and I did not use the whole half one of it. So I'm gonna open my bag back up very carefully and put a little bit more hair gel into it. Just a couple of squirts. Okay, there we go. It'll be easier the second time around, and it may be, if you have to open it back up, it might get a little messy, but you should be okay. All right, now I've got more hair gel to knead in to the bag. All right, and now to secure the bag, I am gonna go around the edges with my red duct tape. And this is gonna be easier than it was with the board earlier. You literally just take one piece, and I'm gonna secure the top first and fold on over like so. And then do the other edges. And this is just gonna secure the bag, but it's also gonna provide a little bit of a color anchor as well. I got my duct tape stuck. Oh no. Okay. Just kind of gauge how much you need. And it's okay if you go over, you can just fold it over on the ends. Fold it over, perfect. All right, and when we're done, I will show you what they look like against light. So here I'm just going to speed through me filling the second quart size bag with hair gel. Your house may start smelling like hair gel. Okay, I'm also gonna clean the top off where I kind of made a little bit of a mess. All right, so we've got the hair gel in the bag. So now I'm going to make one using these foam beads. Once again, whoa. See my example? You gotta be careful when you're using these items. Okay, so I am going to open up the bag. I'm not gonna use all of the foam beads. I think I'm just gonna use half. All right, and like the same thing I said before, you wanna kind of get the air out without worrying about the foam pieces coming out. So you kind of want to push them down into the gel and then push out as much air as possible, and then close, and then knead the bag. Knead those foam pieces into that hair gel. So move some of the hair gel up the bag and some of the foam beads down the bag. And just knead the bag. Okay. All right, and for this yellow foam bead one, I'm going to use the yellow Mylar duct tape around the sides. This one does not tear, so you want to use your scissors to cut it. The goal with the swirly mats is to use them with a light box or a light source. You can buy pre-made ones from APH, but I prefer the homemade ones because they are more tactile. They provide more sensory feedback to children, so they seem to enjoy the homemade ones more. The light is gonna shine through the light box and they're gonna touch it, and then, like I said, get that sensory feedback from the hair gel. It's gonna feel cool to the touch. They're gonna feel the bumps and knead it themselves. It encourages touching. It encourages visually guided reach. It encourages visual localization and fixation because it's also attractive to the eye. So even if they're not touching it, they will be attracted to looking at it in the beginning. Okay, did I get all sides? Okay, I need one little piece here. And then I'm going to show you at the end with the, in a second, with the binder, another way you can use the swirly mats. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do for the last one is I think I'm going to, instead of making 2 more quart size ones, I think I'm going to make a full size one and show you how to use it in the binder. All right, so yeah, for the last one, I'm gonna do a full-size Ziploc bag one, and we're just gonna put all of the hair gel in it, and we're gonna use some of the glitter. The glitter, you can use one single color, but you can also mix the glitter together. So we could do a gold and red. We could do a silver and gold. We could mix silver and pink. It really depends on the child. These are little small bottles. I think I am going to mix 2 colors together. I think what I'm gonna do is mix the silver and the gold together for this activity. We could also, the other option would be to do the green glitter with the green, maybe we'll do that. It's kind of like a science experiment. It's kind of fun because you kind of have to like figure out like what's gonna look good and what isn't, or what's gonna work for the student. And every student's preferences are different, you know? Like every student really is different. And like I said, for, I'm gonna go ahead and just twist the top off because we're gonna put the entire bottle into this Ziploc bag, the gallon size. So this is what, if you were sent gallon bags in hair gel, then you will be putting the whole container into the bag. And I'm just shaking it out as best I can. I actually think I might use what's left in this other one while this one drains a little bit. And just so we're not wasteful, I'm going to use what's left in this one as well. So as you can see, you can get a lot more out of the quart size ones, but for what we're gonna do with the binder in a second, I need the full size one. So what I'm gonna do is we are going to do the green confetti and the green glitter together. But like I said, it's kind of actually fun. It's a fun craft to do, to kind of just like play around with it and see what different colors and things look like. Do the same thing I did last time and try to get those last few pieces off of the bag. that they're in and into the bag, the gallon size bag that we want it to be in. And I know it's off camera right now, but okay. And now we're gonna take the glitter. Actually, I wonder if the whole thing will pop off. There it goes, okay. So if you grab by this little part, the whole thing will pop off. So like the hinge, if you grab by the hinge, the whole plastic top will pop off. And then we're just gonna dump the glitter in and do the same thing. Try to keep the items in the bag while trying to get as much air out of the bag as possible. And then securely. You want a good sturdy, and start kneading again. You want a good sturdy Ziploc bag because you don't want the stuff seeping out. Even with the duct tape, it does help. And also just you want the bag itself to be sturdy. You want it to be nice and thick. So that's why I say do a gallon size freezer bag if possible. And make sure it's like, you don't want to use like Dollar Tree brand. I've tried that before and it never works out. The other tip I want to give you about swirly mats, especially the homemade ones, it may be true for the APH ones as well, but don't leave them in your car when it's hot. If you leave them in a hot car, the hair gel evaporates and they dry out. So you want to make sure you keep them in a cool location. If you're traveling with them to see a student, then you want to make sure that you are keeping it out of your car when it's hot and taking it back to store it inside, you know, in a comfortable temperature. All right, and for this one, actually, I just realized I have green Mylar, so we're gonna give some matching border tape. As far as the border goes, the color anchor that we've talked about with regard to the board that we made, with regard to the swirly mats, whatever it is that you're doing, the anchor color depends on the child. So you want the anchor color to be their preferred color. So like even when they're seeing other colors, whatever their original preferred color was, that's what you want the anchor color to be. All right, and remember the Mylar duct tape, for whatever reason, will not tear. You have to cut it. So once again, we're gonna do the same thing we did before. We're just going to tape around the edges and fold it over like so, and do every single edge. I'm just gonna kind of gauge it as best I can. I have found the Mylar duct tape does not get stuck as easily as the regular duct tape. It's a little like sturdier, I guess. I mean, not necessarily like more secure, but it's like stiffer, maybe is the right way to put it. So it doesn't fold in on itself as easily. Oh, I dropped the roll. Pause. Okay. All right. I don't know if you can see that, so I'll make sure you can. So I went over a little bit so you'll kind of see what you do when you go over. If you go over, just fold it in like that. I can actually like cut it a little bit too, and then you can just take like a little piece. I don't know if you can see that. Take a little piece and just take it and fold it over again like so. And voila, you're done. I actually think this one came out really nice. The other thing to make note of is when you're using your swirly mats, try to place them on the light box with the where the Ziploc or whatever brand it is logo and the parking unit that you ride on is facing down. Okay, so you don't want that to be like a distractor, even though it is kind of faint. So make sure it's facing down. All right. Okay, so I'm going to replicate for you what it would look like on a light box. I don't have a light box with me at home, but there's an easy way to replicate one using the My Light app on the iPad, and I'm going to enable guided access. If you don't know how to do that, it is under the accessibility section of settings in your iPad settings. But there's a great how-to guide for it on the Teaching Visually Impaired website as well. So if you just go to teachingvisuallyimpaired.com, there are free printables. You do have to sign up for Carmen's website to access them, but there are lots of wonderful guides in there, and she does have a wonderful guided access AT guide in there. So I am just going to make sure first that it's the way I want it. So I want the brightness all the way up, and then I am going to triple click, tap guided access, and then it says guided access start, and then I am just going to put this onto the thing. So there we go. We've got a little our own version of a light box, but it's very easy for the kids to knead it, touch it. It feels cool to the touch. It's fun to play with it. So it is very easy to play with, and like I said, one little touch will manipulate it. And you can do some, you know, hand underhand, slight hand overhand like guidance with it to touch it. But very fun and attractive. Like, it will definitely catch their attention. These examples are using a version of the mat that we made earlier, but where there is a shape cut out of the inside, and it is 3-hole punched and put into a black binder, and you can use it to cover up the swirly mat where only the lighted portion of the shape is shining through.